Today we travel to Stuttgart, West Germany for the DTB Pokal International Gymnastics Competition. Highlighting the field, two of the dominant gymnasts from the 1988 Olympics, Valerie Liukin of the Soviet Union and Daniela Silivash of Romania. But before we go to
Union, he won 4 medals in Seoul, 2 of them gold, and Daniela Silivash from Romania, she won 6 medals in Seoul, 3 of them gold. Now, Seoul, of course, was the end of an Olympic cycle, and when you talk Olympic cycles, it begins here for the 92 Games. It starts here with this event, goes on to the World Championships later this fall, the Goodwill Games in Seattle in 1990, the 1991 World Championships in Indianapolis, and then the 92 Games in Barcelona. So the future stars of international gymnastics begin their road to Barcelona right here in Stuttgart. Now, our first competitor in the women's all-around competition is Natalia Lashenova, the 15-year-old from Riga in the Soviet Union. She's only 4'7.5" and 77 pounds, and is she a tiger? Here's her vault. Tremendous power on a vault that's called a laid-out Yurchenko. It was invented by her teammate, Natalia Yurchenko, from the Soviet team a few years back. Let's take a look and see exactly how she performs this. She does a round off onto the board, a back handspring onto the horse with a tremendous push, and look at the height and distance as she keeps her body straight, does one flip and one twist. Once again, you can see from the backside, she gets tremendous power. She's way up in the air, perfect form, and she actually over-rotates a little bit and has to take a hop. She's going to try this time to block it a little bit more and try and stick the landing. Now, keep in mind, in the women's all-around competition, they get 2 vaults. They get the best score of those 2 vaults. Here she goes again. That was nice. Good landing that time. She did block it up a little bit higher, and you can see it's easier to stick the landing when you're coming straight down rather than over-rotating. Once again, you can see on the replay, she has good speed. She really gets a good block right there, which hangs it up in the air and allows her to spot the landing. 9.888 for Natalia Lashenova, which brings us to Aurelia Dobre, the 87 world all-around champion from Romania. She's going to perform on the uneven bars. She does a straddle over right to the top bar, stalled her. There's a Ginger. Oh, and she's off. I don't know why she missed her hands on that. Actually, it looked like she was in perfect position to regrasp. She has to continue her exercise. She'll lose a ½ point deduction for the major break, but she has to pick up where she left off. She's back into the giant swings on the top bar with a full turn and a tuck double back dismount, but I'm afraid she's going to take herself right out of the running with a major break in the first event. Let's see if we can find out what happens. She's going to do a Ginger, which is a back flip with a half twist. She looks like she's right where she wants to be, and I have no idea why she lost grasp there. A disappointing 9-3 for Dobre. Up in Stuttgart, West Germany, this is Daniela Silivash getting ready to perform her vault. She won 3 golds in Seoul. In fact, this is the only event that she didn't win a gold in. Pretty clean vault. She does a Yurchenko vault, just like we saw Lashenova do, but she did it in a tuck position, and unfortunately, she had some form breaks, and that's going to cost her. The beginning of the vault looked very good, the round off onto the board, but notice the form break right there, and she continues with her legs bent and slightly separated. It's okay to bend them, but your legs have to be tight together in that tucked, full twisting position. Once again, you can see she gets a good push off the horse, but a little sloppy in the air, and one step on the landing. Now, what she's going to try and do in her second vault is clean up the form a little bit and try and stick the landing. Oh, she laid that one out. That was a much better vault, and I'm sure will score better. This time she did the Yurchenko vault, but without tucking, she kept her body completely straight, and the form was a little cleaner. She comes on with the round off. She goes into the horse, gets a good push, and notice she keeps her legs straight here, tries to squeeze them together, and stick the landing. A good vault for Daniela Silivash. Score 9.738, which brings us over to the uneven bars. The bronze medalist in Seoul in the all-around, Svetlana Boginskaya from the Soviet Union. This is a terrific event for her because she has such a long line and beautiful long swings. Giant with a full. Giant with a full again. right to a reverse hecht. Nice combination of very difficult elements. You can see why she was a finalist in Seoul in this event, because she has all the right stuff. Cast back up to the handstand. What a beautiful toe-on, toe-off, and she sets up for the dismount. A really high, tough double somersault. Great exercise for Boginskaya. Let's take a look again at this combination. She's going to do a giant swing right to the top and a full turn right on top and set up another one. Beautiful pirouette action, good clean line, and nice straight handstand positions. And the dismount sequence is terrific. She does a giant right to a tuck double back, really high. You can see she kicks out and handles a nice landing. So Boginskaya gets a 9.913, a good start for her in the all-around competition. Now we move over in the second rotation to Lashenova. She's on the uneven bars. She is dynamite because her strength to weight ratio is very impressive. She's only 77 pounds and 4'7½". Look how powerful she is as she just blasts through this routine. Pirouette, really high, reverse hecht. Down to the low bar. That straddle move is called a Stalder, invented by Joseph Stalder for the men's high bar. Now the women are doing it. Look at the power on these giant swings. A tuck double back. She kind of slings it out a little bit and takes a step on the landing, but she is very, very strong. You can see what happens here on the dismount. She does a giant right over the top. She has a lot of power. She lets go just a hair early and slings it away from the bar, which causes her to over-rotate just a little bit. And the score is 9.863. Now her biggest competition is Daniela Silivash from Romania. She got the gold on this event in Seoul. Beautiful Stalder to start the exercise. Half turn to a front Stalder. Pirouette right to a Delchev. Nice combination of three very difficult elements back to back. Once again, she traversed to the low bar and then back up to the high bar for the finish. Giant free hip front with a half. One step on the landing. That is a nice routine. In fact, in Seoul, she got a 10 every time she performed on the uneven bars. She has some terrific combinations. This is the Delchev. It's a back with a half in a straddle position invented by Stoyan Delchev from the Bulgarian men's team. Here's her dismount, the giant to the handstand. This is a free hip front with a half. One small step, otherwise we would have been looking at a 10. Instead, she gets a 9.925 for Silivash. And now Svetlana Boginskaya from the Soviet Union. She has moved to her second event, which is the balance beam. She was 5th in Seoul on this event. Front on. What a nice opening move. The Soviets have been typically so strong because they combine terrific dance with outstanding acrobatics. Flip-flop, flip-flop, flip-flop. 3 in a row. There's a split leap. And a series of leaps. That's a requirement. Front handspring. That's a very difficult move because the landing is blind. You're flipping forward rather than backward. There's a full turn. That's also a requirement. Her dance style is different. It's sharp and precise. Not necessarily as fluid as some of the Romanians, but it's a really nice style. Oh, and a little bobble there. She did flip-flop layout. And she's going to lose a couple of tenths of a point for the loss of balance. Okay, she's backing up. She's going to use the full length of the beam to get ready for her dismount. It's a round off to a tuck double back, and she nails the landing. Great finish. She had a little trouble in the middle of the exercise, but the finish was terrific. Let's see from the overhead angle. This is a terrific opportunity to see what happens. She's right in line with these back handsprings. The layout is good, but I think she was a little short of rotation, didn't bend her landing leg enough, and it threw her off a little bit. The dismount was outstanding. The round off, and watch the reach. Tremendous lift with her arms. She pulls that around, she cowboys her legs a little bit, but she really knows how to spot the landing. 9-6-8-8 for Boginskaya.
Prize leader based on her high scores in the vault and parallel bars. Let's return to Stuttgart and Bart Connor as the competition continues.
At the halfway point in the women's all-around competition, Aurelia Dobry already took herself out of the running with a mistake early on the uneven bars, but Natalia Lashenova looks very strong. She is holding off Silivash and Boginskaya. However, Lashenova has yet to perform on the balance beam, one of her most inconsistent events, and Silivash has her two best events coming up. Both events she holds the Olympic gold in, so it's going to be a race right down to the end. You're looking there at Antje Wilkenloh from East Germany. She's a newcomer to the international scene. In fact, we know very little about her, except for the fact that if she's a representative of the East German team, you know she's outstanding because the East Germans have been strong for many, many years. Here's her first major tumbling run. Back handspring, layout nicely done. She's very powerful. If anything, she's overdoing some of her skills, which is good. Stag handstand. She planges down and shows tremendous flexibility. That's called a pancake. Beautiful switch leg split leap to two straddle leaps, a beautiful combination of leaps. The judges are looking for acrobatic elements, for turns like that full turn, combinations of leaps. So far, this exercise is very clean. Here's the dismount. Round off, triple twist, a layout with 3 twists, and she nails the landing. Good exercise for Antje Wilkenloh. I'm sure we'll be seeing more of her. This is a terrific dismount. She does a round off. She's going to keep her body straight, which is laid out, and crank 3 twists before she makes the landing. Really nice dismount. 9.813 for Antje Wilkenloh from East Germany. You're looking at Svetlana Boginskaya from the Soviet Union. She has an incredibly unique floor routine. Let's watch. Full in. Punch front. Nice combination. Here's her final run. One step out, do the double full. Well, it's easy to see why this young lady won the silver medal in Seoul in floor exercise. This is her final tumbling run. It's a front step out, which is very high, through to a layout double twist. Now you find most of the top gymnasts are doing double backs or full twisting double backs at the end, but she had a clean routine. 9.913. This is Natalia Lashenova on the beam. Front flip on. She is so powerful. She tends to be a little inconsistent on the beam, but I love her style. Here's her first run, flip-flop layout. Oh, and she's off. She had trouble right from the start. You could tell when she took off for the layout that she was a little bit crooked. She has a lot of problems containing that unbelievable power. she'll lose a half a point, and she has to continue with her exercise. She showed her full turn. She's showing terrific dance elements, good flexibility, nice split leap. You know that she's thinking about giving up a half a point because she made a major mistake, but it's important not to look back. She has to look forward and complete the rest of this exercise. With a back walkover to a layout. What power. Back walkover, straddle down. Setting up for her dismount, back handspring, tuck double back. How incredible. Really unfortunate that she had trouble on that layout because the rest of the exercise was very nice. Let's see if we can find out what happened. She does a back handspring to a very high layout. It's really hard to say what happened. I think she just overdid it. She had so much power, she over-rotated a little bit and had trouble containing it. This dismount is amazing because she shows the tremendous power on those back handsprings. Look at the height and the ease of the rotation on that double flip. Unfortunately, that major break is going to cost her. 9.35 is all she'll get. Now we turn our sights to Daniela Silivash from Romania on beam. This is an event where she is also the gold medalist from the games in Seoul. She has incredible technique and a terrific style. She models herself after the famous Romanian gymnast Nadia Comaneci. In fact, she said by the time she was 8 years old, she had decided she wanted to be the next Nadia. Use combination tumbling, flip-flop, layout, perfect. What makes her so terrific is she has great flexibility, great economy of movement, and yet she is so explosive she can do all the acrobatic elements as well. Once again, back handspring, one-handed on the second back handspring. Good combination. The beautiful flexibility in the stag handstand. She moves so easily. Full turn, a little bobble there, but so far no room for any major deductions. She's setting up for her last run, which will be the dismount. Back handspring, tuck double back, and a slight over rotation, but that is a very nice exercise. Once again on this combination, back handspring, 2 feet takeoff to a tuck double back, a little bit of cowboy. In fact, if she cowboyed less, she might have stuck that landing. With a 9.95, Silivash takes the lead after the third rotation. We'll be back after we hear from Craig Silivash on the floor. Beautiful full-in pike and a perfect landing. Broken in Seoul. She lost the all-around and then came back to win 3 of the 4 events in the finals. Double full to punch front. She continues back to another double full. So far, a very clean exercise and a lot of fun, too. Nice high tuck double back. Nothing to it. Daniela Silivash. A really appreciative crowd here in Stuttgart as they applaud that performance. This could clinch her the all-around title. She was nearly perfect. Here's the double full to a punch front. She cowboys a little bit, but she continues through to another double full. Combination tumbling invented by Oksana Omelianchik from the Soviet team. 9.975 is going to clinch the all-around title for Silivash. This young lady's having a terrific competition from East Germany. This is Antje Wilkenloh. One of her first major international events, and she is on. Front step out to a triple twist. Breath before her second tumbling run. Tuck double back, a little short. Triple full. What a finish. Now, she had a little trouble in the landings of those triple twists, but the judges will take that into account because 3 twists in the air, very difficult to complete them, make them all the way around. Let's take a look once again. She does a round off to a back handspring, and she's going to stay laid out, and she cranks 3 twists just like she did off the balance beam, and you can see she's a little short, has to take a step out of that. That'll be a minor deduction. 9.788 for Antje Wilkenloh. Now we turn our attention over to Svetlana Boginskaya from the Soviet Union. This is her final event, the vault. She won the gold here in Seoul. Wow. That's a Yurchenko full, as we saw earlier, with perfect form. This is a very difficult move, and she does it so cleanly. That's what makes it so spectacular. She's high. She has good form. Notice how tight her legs are all the way throughout. She tries to fight that landing and takes a small step. Once again, it's a round off. She's going to go back onto the horse backwards, get a good clean push. Boy, the form in the air is outstanding. Remember, in the women's all-around competition, they get 2 vaults. They get to take the best of the 2. That one was perfect, even better than the first one, and she nailed the landing. The 15-year-old from Minsk is obviously pleased. She's finished with the all-around competition, and she finished on a strong note. What a great ball. She comes onto the board. Notice she puts her hands down in front of the board and then reaches back to the horse. Beautiful block. That's a spring-loaded horse, which gives the gymnast extra height. She drops the landing right on top of it. Once again, as we look at the replay of this second vault, she got a 9.925 on her first vault. This one's even better. She has a great block, good height, perfect form, and she just nails it. A 10! A 10 for Svetlana Boginskaya from the Soviet Union. A great way to finish, but unfortunately not enough to catch Daniela Silivash from Romania. Boganskaya finishes second. Antia Vilkenlo from East Germany's third. Lashenova from the Soviet Union fourth. Dobre finishes sixth. The men's all-around competition is next. Back in Stuttgart, West Germany for the German Gymnastics Federation Cup for the men's all-around competition. As we mentioned at the top of the show, many of the world's best gymnasts are competing here, including Soviet Olympic champion Valery Liukin. This next performer for the Soviet team is Valery Belenki. He's a last-minute replacement. And to give you an idea how deep their team is, we have never heard anything about this guy, and he is awesome. Look at him travel up and down the horse. One pommel work, 3 backmores in a row. Tremendous elevation above the horse. Perfect toe point. There's a handstand. Pirouette undercut down. He picks up back into flares. Look at the Stockley and a full pirouette off. Tremendous exercise for Belenki. He shows incredible originality, and the routine was packed with difficulty. From the top, you can see the flared position. Tremendous work as he Stockleys to the end, and he full pirouettes all the way back to the other end and dismounts. 9.8 is the score for Belenki. This brings us to his teammate, Valery Liukin, the Olympic champion. He tied for 4th place in the Olympic Games in Seoul on this event, the still rings. It's a back kick to a planche. And a bounce cross. The Soviets have been very well known for their swinging ability on rings, as well as their strength. Notice how he's locked out in the handstand. He can swing those giant swings. He's a little crooked. He's having a little trouble maintaining those rings. See how they're swinging? Every time it swings, it's a 1/10 of a point deduction. What a nice dismount, though. A laid out, full out, not a problem for this young man. Liukin is only 22 years old, and yet he's one of the most talented Soviet gymnasts I've ever seen. He knows how to do all the big tricks, and he's not afraid to throw the big tricks in major competitions. His dismount is a work of art. He does a giant down, he does 2 flips, and he twists a full twist in the second flip, and he spots the landing beautifully. 9.75 is the score for Liukin. This brings us to Yukio Ikitani from Japan. He's one of the 18-year-old sensations of the Japanese team. In fact, he was involved in a very dramatic contest in Seoul where the Japanese just edged out the Chinese, winning the bronze medal in the team competition. He travels all the way across the horse. He does a move called a spindle, invented by Zoltán Magyar from the Hungarian team. He clipped the horse a couple of times. Each time you brush the horse, it's a 1/10 of a point deduction. Scissor work, the single leg requirement. And a clean dismount, a flare to a handstand on the end, and a pirouette off. Ikitani placed 8th in the all-around in Seoul. He was the highest placing all-arounder from Japan. He gets a 9.6 here, and that concludes our 3rd rotation. Very impressive, doing all the hard tricks with incredible confidence and ease. His teammate Belenki is very impressive in his first major international meet. However, the Japanese are close behind Ikitani and Nishikawa, keeping it a strong race. Of course, the Japanese owned all the major gymnastics titles for 20 years, from 1959 to 1979. 1980, the Soviets took over and have not looked back. The 2 young 18-year-olds from Japan are trying to keep them in the race. Back for the conclusion of the all-around competition here at the DTB Cup in Stuttgart, West Germany, as we turn our sights to the high bar for 21-year-old Marius German from Sibiu, Romania. He was 5th in the all-around in Seoul, and he tied for the bronze in this event here, the high bar. Stem to a handstand. Nice one-arm giants. One arm again. Oh, Oh, to a tremendous release move. That's a full twisting Ginger out of one-arm giant swings. Sounds pretty complicated. That's because it is. And again, a full twisting front flip. This guy is doing everything. Okay, he's setting up for his dismount. Good speed on the Giants. And a double twisting double flip. Nice routine for Marius German from Romania. Let's take a look at the release moves again. On the first one, he does a one-arm giant swing. Now watch, he's going to let go, do a back flip in a laid-out position with 1.5 twists. A break in form there should cost him a deduction. The second one was a front with a full, and he had a minor break in form there as well, but a very difficult routine. A 10. The judges give him a perfect 10, even though there were some obvious flaws. It looks like he knew it. Our next performer, Ikitani from Japan, is getting ready to go on the floor exercise. He tied for the bronze in Seoul in this event. He has a really clean style. Ikitani still very much in the hunt for the all-around title. Wow. Full twisting double back, and he skied it. Perfect form. The Japanese have not been known to be really terrific tumblers, but he is amazing. That was a front flip through to a triple twist. Good flexibility in the split and a press to a handstand. Front, combination tumbling. That's a move called a Y scale. Shows his balance, which is a requirement in the floor routine. He's covered all the area except this last tumbling run, which is right here, round off back handspring, and a full in at the end, a little short on the landing, but that's a very difficult dismount. He seems very pleased with that performance on the floor. Once again, here's the full in. It's a full twisting double back, and look at how clean his form is in the air. Most people spread their legs a little bit and have to cowboy to make the flip. He used the same move for his dismount, which also shows tremendous difficulty. Full in double back, a little short on the dismount. But I'm sure the judges didn't mind much because that was a terrific exercise. Very difficult. 9.8 for Ikitani on floor. This is Liukin, our all-around leader. He's getting ready to perform on the high bar. He tied for the gold in Seoul in this event with the all-around champion, his teammate, Artyomov. Legs together, reverse hecht. He is so aggressive. Notice everything. He tries to top off every trick to the max. The inverts, front with a full, nice regrasp. That straddle giant is called a stalder. Picking up speed for the dismount, and a triple back with his knees together. A tough dismount. Liukin is such an aggressive gymnast. In fact, he was kicked out of his gym in Alma-Ata in the Soviet Union because he couldn't get along with his coach. He has a real feisty attitude, and you can see that style in his gymnastics. This is the triple flip. Most of the guys have to really cowboy, but notice he maintains his knees together for the first two flips and only pulls them apart a very little bit at the end. And so a 9.9 for Liukin. That will clinch the all-around title because this young man, Daisuke Nishikawa from Japan, even with a perfect 10, can't catch Liukin for the all-around title. His biggest competitor is his teammate now, Ikitani. Nishikawa was 13th in the all-around in the Olympics in Seoul. Over-rotates a little bit and steps out of bounds on that laid-out double back. His His second run is a really clean tuck double back to a perfect landing. A lot of guys use more difficulty in their second tumbling run, but I like his option. He took a cleaner run and stylized the double back rather than trying to pack in too many tricks. He showed flares to a split and a clean press to handstand. Front for a side pass down the side of the mat. So he's done 2 diagonal runs, 1 side run, and he'll complete his routine here with the final diagonal run. No, back handspring, full twisting double back like his teammate Ikitani, a terrific finish. Well, the judges certainly liked it, a 9.8 for Nishikawa. That means he ties his teammate Ikitani for second in the all-around. Neither one of them, of course, could catch our champion, Valery Liukin. And the young Soviet, Balenki, takes fourth in the all-around, and Marius German from Romania finishes seventh. Well, that's it from the German Gymnastics Federation Cup in Stuttgart, West Germany. I'm Bart Connor for U.S. Olympic Gold.